Hello, Peekers. Welcome back to Plot Peek. I'm Miranda.
And I'm Mackenzie, and this is your one-stop shop for storytelling,
tea spilling,
and all the latest book talk drama that you have been missing out on.
Woohoo! Okay.
Can we even just tell you how many times that we have practiced that initial line?
And
it's something.
If you're watching the videos that are going along with the audio, I'm sorry if we're cringy and a little awkward. We're learning, okay?
We're just girls.
Sit tight.
We're just girls.
And listen to the stories, okay? Okay. But also, if you do want to leave a comment or a like or subscribe, go ahead and do that too while you're there.
Might as well, right? You're already here.
Yeah.
You're already here.
Yeah, you're already here. It's like halfway done.
Just do it.
Okay, so before we get started, do you want to tell them anything like that you're reading currently? Any current books of yours that you're reading on the side?
So I just finished recently Manacled, and this is a fanfic book, like kind of based on very much based on the Harry Potter series, basically in like an alternate universe where Voldemort won and Harry Potter ends up dying.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
And it is tea. It is really heavy, really dark.
I haven't even read Harry Potter series.
Okay, I think we might cover those at one point. I know that they're like kind of kiddie, whatever. We're still deciding where we want to go after this. I love Harry Potter. I'm a nerd. I have some little Harry Potter
and
tattoo.
Honestly, a lot of people our age are still talking about Harry Potter enough to where I want to reread it now that I'm at a reading level. Now that I can read and comprehend.
Now that she knows how to read
and comprehend,
she's gonna go places.
It might.
I might. You might.
Who knows?
Might. But no, if you love Harry Potter, and if you are okay with a little bit of like the dark themes of book. I mean, it says all the trigger warnings in the beginning of the book. That is one of the most moving, incredible books that I've ever read. And I know it's not published. I know that it is a fanfic, but I'm telling you, if you haven't read it and those triggers are okay with you, you are missing out. Read it. 10 of 10. Manacled.
I love that you're an actual reader, too, because I feel like you're going to be naming things that are like that aren't just mainstream,
just
sometimes.
Like neat, like a little more niche,
because like that saying that it wasn't published and you found it, like that's something I would not do. Like I'm not that deep into reading it. I very much pick my books based off of hearing other people talking about it.
But that's okay. I feel like I've always been I read a lot of like the young adult things like Hunger Games, the Twilight. I read all of that growing up, but in the past probably like 3 years I've gotten more into reading, and God, I love it. It's like my escapism from reality.
I'm noticing a lot of times now that I am reading, like if it's a good book, I can zone in completely and forget the world. And now I understand how people are like, yeah, you'll just like fall into the book.
Yeah.
And that is something I never understood before. Like I used to read and be like, oh, this is boring. But maybe I just never found the right book.
No, that's probably true. And now that you're more, I feel like it takes a minute. Like once you really get into reading and start like
knowing how it falls and formats and stuff.
Yeah,
it definitely took a little bit. I started off really easy reads, I'd say, and like Colleen Hoover and stuff.
But that's okay. Yeah. That's where a lot of people start, and it gets you back into like love
the fun
of reading.
Of it. Yeah. I'm reading on the side right now Dune. Have you seen the movies?
I haven't seen the movies. I want to watch it probably just because of Zendaya, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's why I got into it too. But I watched Dune 1 and 2, and it was so good. Like, the cinematography in itself was just great. And, like, I know that Dune is such a big book, and it's so wide. Like, it could be probably a little complex to follow. So that's why after watching it, I was like, okay, I kind of know the story a little bit. Maybe that's going to make it easier to read it. And I'm reading it right now, and it actually is pretty good. I haven't gotten that far into it, but yeah, I like it.
I'll add that to my ever-growing list.
I'll let you have mine because it's like a huge series. It's like 6 books.
Sometimes I like to read those big ones on my Kindle because then I don't know what I'm always getting into. Yeah. I'm just like, it's this big.
It's so small.
It's just a small little book. It may take me 3 weeks to read, or it might take me 2 days, and it's okay.
I can't stop looking at the little percentage of how fast I'm or like how much is left in the book. I am obsessed with it, and almost like I'm like, I gotta read faster. Gotta go.
Now.
I'm like, there's only 48% left. I gotta go.
Oh gosh. Well, we are so excited to get started on this week. You want to tell them the little stories that we're reading this week?
Yeah. So we are still in Assassin's Blade, and we're going to be reading the part Assassin and the Underworld. And like we say every time, if you don't want spoilers, if you have not read this part, don't watch and don't listen. But if you aren't reading and you also don't care about spoilers and you just want a good story time, keep on keeping on, and let's get into it.
And we'll say this one more time. If you are currently reading the Throne of Glass series, but you did not start with Assassin's Blade first, lots of people read it first, lots of people read it third, some people read it fourth. If you did not start with this book and you started with Throne of Glass, come back, hit us up on episode 4. That's where we're starting Throne of Glass. This is currently episode 3.
So let's go ahead and talk about the characters a little bit, and we can give a little more background as we get into the story. But we've got Donoval, who is is that his name? Donoval?
I always said it Deneville, but another fun phonics with words with Miranda and Mackenzie.
Tell us who's right, okay? But be nice about it, please.
Yeah, we will cry.
So Donoval is a really powerful businessman from the land of, what's it called? Melisandre.
Yeah.
That's where he's from, and he was married to this other lady named Leifer, and they got a divorce, so they're ex-spouses at this point. And the reason why they're coming here to Rifthold in this area is because the queen of Melisandre is friends with Leifer, and she's like, go talk to the king and see if he will allow us to open up a bridge or like a little path so we can start trading again, and we can like really build currency and like profit us, profit him, like, because they're all kind of like allies at this point. They're actually one of the few royal kingdoms that the king didn't murder, because they were like, we'll hang beside you, we'll pledge our alliance to you. So they're working together.
And when we talk about Rifthold, that is like a section in Adarlan. It's like the capital. It's the capital city in Adarlan. So Adarlan is like the country, and then Rifthold is where like the Glass Castle is. It's where Adarlan's Assassins Guild is, and it's also where like the big, I think I said the Glass Castle, but it's where it's like the populated city of Adarlan. And then, but Adarlan is still a small country area compared to the whole of Erelia. Just Erelia, whatever you want to say.
Okay, so those are the two main characters coming up in this story. So Lysandra is another character that is about the same age as Selena and Sam. She came into this area after being found?
Yeah, so she was found by
Arabin.
No, she was found actually by the courtesan,
right?
Or like the madam,
right?
Her name is Clarice, and the courtesan found her, or the madam found her, and basically said, "This is a beautiful young girl." It was right after the fall. Lysandra, I guess we don't know much about her history, but she didn't have any family. She was found on the streets, and basically she was like, "Oh, you're beautiful. You're going to grow up to a beautiful woman. Let's make you a prostitute." Yeah.
And Lysandra is completely owning it, because she's getting, just like how Selena's being hyped up by Arabin, Lysandra's being hyped up by Clarice. And so she's like, yeah, I'm like the most wanted. Everybody wants me. Like, everybody's looking forward to bidding on my bid day to take my virginity. Like, it's a really big deal. Yeah, that's so nasty.
That's real cringe.
Real skeevy.
And I think Selena is, like, we'll get more into their, like, relationship and stuff, but she hates how Lysandra throws it in her face that she gets all this attention from men, and she's so beautiful. And Lysandra is, it's a very childish, like, I'm so beautiful, more beautiful than you.
Yeah.
And Selena's like, well, I will literally gut you.
I can actually kill you.
I will kill you.
And they have tussled a couple of times. That's been told, is they've tussled through the years. Yeah. Oh, Lysandra also knows Selena's, like, real identity. She and Clarice, I think. Clarice. See, Lysandra and her madam both know who Selena is, because anybody who sees Selena outside of the guild thinks that she's Arabin's niece.
Yes, and basically Lysandra kind of not throws it in her face, but Lysandra uses any opportunity to belittle or rile Selena up.
She really does.
She's like, I'm sorry that I get so much attention and that you're just an assassin. You wouldn't understand the finery things. Like they just go back and forth. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. That's so awkward.
Sorry.
It's real weird.
It's giving Mean Girl for me, but it's
very Mean Girls. But they're also 16, 17.
That's what makes it so funny, like the drama about it. Because I'm like, really, it's okay. Anyways. I eat it up, so I can't really talk about it. All right, so let's get into the story time. Let's go ahead and preface that she like we said, she had to take a month to get to the Red Desert. It's going to take an additional month to get back home. So she travels a whole month through the desert, overseas, like just doing the thing, getting there. And she knows for a fact that Arabin has like spies all over the city. So she knows as soon as she enters Rifthold, they're probably giving word to Arabin that she's returned. So she gets cleaned up along the way, just a little bit, still a little crusty. But she gets cleaned up, and she's like, I just know he's waiting to talk to me, waiting to see all of this. Like, let's just go ahead and get this over with. I know he's going to be waiting on me. And she gets up there, and she's about to walk in, and Wesley, Arabin's personal bodyguard, is like, he's busy right now. You can't go in. And she's like, do you think I care?
Do you know who I am?
Do you not know where I've been the last 2 months? So she's like, excuse me. And she walks on in, and Arabin is there at his desk, and he's just, like, got all these papers out, and he's like,
just, like, ignoring her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry that you're back, but, like, I've got things to do. And he, like, makes her wait. He makes her sit there and wait on him. She's
like, I can tell you're not really reading. Like, you're pretending to be doing work right here. I know what you're doing. And he's just like,
he is such a villain. I hate him.
I hate him. But yeah, so literally like 10 minutes, they're sitting in silence. And Selena's just sitting there like, okay, like that's great. This is super cool. Thank you. And Arabin's finally, he's like, you know, I am so sorry that I did what I did to you. I was just like really hurt about you like going against me, and like it just really hurt my feelings, and I'm so sorry. Like I would never do that again. Like, here, take this present. I have a present for you. And he gave her like 3 different like super expensive like jewelry pieces. And like honestly, I probably, from the description, I might have accepted it.
I would accept it, but also keep it in the back of my mind.
Yeah, and that's what she does. Selena's like, oh, thank you. Fake ass bitch.
Kind of, no, seriously.
She's like, I got my eye on you.
But she also doesn't tell Arabin that the Mute Master gave her money for her freedom, basically. He was like, this is enough to pay off all your debts to Arabin. You can have your freedom. And since she comes back, she's almost like so surprised that he's so apologetic. And like, I'm so sorry. I never should have done that to you. I regret it, blah, blah, blah. His manipulative ass excuses for what he did to her. And so she doesn't tell him in that moment that she has money to free herself.
Because she's kind of like playing it. She's like playing it by ear, like, I'm going to give it time, like really evaluate if this is what I want to do. Like, do I want to leave this life or not?
Right.
So Arabin's giving her these gifts, these apologies, and he's like, oh, I've also got another gift for you. I have a super top secret contract that, 1, you're going to get paid so much money for. 2, you're going to save your ass from getting caught by the king for freeing those slaves. And so that's where he tells Selena about Donoval and Leifer coming into town during this fair to help encourage the king to allow them to start trading again. And he tells Selena, yeah, Donoval's actually trying to leak out information of where these slave houses are and where these slaves, like, supporters are, like the people who are helping the slaves hide and, like, giving them safe houses and stuff. And so he's telling her Donoval is trying to get this essentially for blackmail, and he's here to meet up with another person in the city, and they're going to have a secret meeting for these informations. And you have to find the documents, you have to kill him, and then that way everybody wins, you're safe, the slave supporters are safe, the slaves are safe, and you get paid.
And he's using, like, obviously he knows now that the slaves are a weak spot, like a weak spot for her. It's a very sensitive subject for whatever that may be. Like, so he's like, oh, well, this is an assignment that you could also, like, be on similar on your mission. You know, this will help, like, prevent more slave trade. This will help, you know, blah, blah, blah. This will help you, like, continue on the mission that you started out on. Very, just so manipulative.
He is, because it's like, she is hearing exactly what she wants. She's like, yeah, that's so fucked up. I don't want to be part of that. Like, yeah, let's try to do something.
Yeah.
So that was another gift. And then he was like, oh, also, by the way, all these tinkerers are coming in from this little fair that's coming through, and I've got a master tinkerer making brand new suits for my assassins, and it's going to be a gift for you. Like, don't worry about it. Like, it's on the house.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a little...
Just manipulate. He's just pulling out all the stops.
I am really so sorry. Like, don't even worry about paying me back for this.
Don't even worry.
I didn't ask for a new suit.
No, he's just, like, he knows that this mission of hers, leaving her in this, like, angry, vulnerable spot, sending her away from her people, the only home she's known for the last 10-ish years. Like, he feels guilty, and he probably feels fear of her losing her.
Yeah, because she's like, yeah, that was not cool.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, thank you so much. And, like, when she goes to get her fitting done, she's, like, looking around the corner, making sure he's not around. And she tells the tinker, she's like, put this little patch of spider silk on the heart for me and my friend Sam, please. So she secretly gets this little extra protection over the heart, which is tea, because, like, that shows that she's listening to Arabin and his, like, apologies, but she's also looking out for herself. She's like, I don't trust this guy anymore. Like, I'll listen and I'll play along real quick, but I gotta make sure my back is covered.
And she is also protecting Sam.
Yeah.
If you guys don't remember from the last episode, the spider silk is what she got from that merchant. And it is strong as steel. It is impenetrable. Any kind of bullet, any kind of weapon would not penetrate it. So putting it over the heart is just that extra little protection from an attack.
So she leaves and she's walking down the hallway, and then she runs into Sam. He's alive. Yay.
He's good.
But you know what? She's so kind of salty, too, because she's like, I know it took me literally a month and a half to heal, and you're still here, and you don't have any scars.
You look chill. You look great.
She's like,
healthy.
I guess, she's like, low-key, she's like, maybe he didn't get beat as bad as me.
Maybe it was just me.
And then she kind of was mad at him. She's like, why doesn't he hurt? Well, like, in her head. She's not, like, actually saying that. She's happy that he's alive, and she's like, hey. They start catching up. They tell each other what's been going on. And then Lysandra starts to come outside of the room that he was in. And she's like,
Sam, where are you? Are you coming back to the room?
Come on, hang out over here.
And this in Selena's mind is like her arch nemesis. That bitch that you just cannot get rid of. And she's coming out of Sam's room like, oh, Sam,
like
where
all
have you
over
been?
him.
Which, that would trigger me so hard.
Yeah, and Selena still is in the spot where she's like, I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this. Like, because the relationship with Sam before was cutthroat. They were mean. They would yell at each other, give insults. So she's trying to balance this, like, how do I be nice and show him that I actually might be possibly caring for him, but also, like, I don't want to act like a completely different person.
Yeah.
So I think that part is interesting. But yeah, so Lysandra alludes to how her and Sam have been together all summer. They were super close, like, together the entire time. And Selena was like, oh, well, that's fine because I actually had a kiss by the Silent Assassin's son, or the Mute Master's son. So.
And you can see in the book, like, Selena is obviously hurt.
Yeah, she's jealous.
But she's jealous. She's upset. She's angry that Sam has had this seemingly magical summer with Lysandra. And then she just wants to throw something in his face. And you can see, like, in the book, it shows, like, Sam's expression harden. And, like, you can tell he's not happy to hear that she had her own little fling.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we know from the last story, she really barely had a fling.
She was just talking
barely
shit.
A little flirt, but, like...
She's just trying to make him feel bad, like her.
In the book, it, like, makes her seem so...
Childish.
Like, she's like, well, I'm going to hurt his
tell him.
feelings.
Yeah.
I'm going to make him sad. He's going to cry.
And that's going to win him over to me.
She's just, I feel like her emotional, like, responses are very much that of a 16-year-old girl. But, like, the life she has to live is very much, like, mature. Yeah.
So there's a concert that's coming on with all these people coming into town, and they're showcasing their music, their arts, and whatnot. And Selena is a huge arts fan. She loves music, mostly like any type of music. She gets so enveloped in it, and she loves it. Mm-hmm. And this is just, and again, since this is such a big moment with all these like new outsiders coming in, that this concert is gorgeous. It's like very elegant, very formal is how I would describe it. So they all get dressed up and they look cute. And Selena and Sam give each other their first little flirty comments. And Selena felt bad for being mean to him earlier. So she's like, I gotta say something to him. So she turns around. She's like, you look nice.
Very casual, nothing crazy.
Yeah, like, and she's like,
guess you look nice or whatever.
Yeah, and she's like, wow, I freaking did that.
She said, I did it. Did you see me do that?
Yeah, she was like, I am so brave. She is not afraid. She's very brave. If you guys are okay with it, we probably will be referencing a lot of TikToks. So just...
And randomly singing, maybe.
Ooh. And acting. Ooh.
Stay tuned.
We'll see.
We don't want to give away all our secrets.
Yeah. So they get to the concert, and she's sitting in the front row, Sam's sitting behind her, and he goes, I think you look really beautiful too, but I'm sure you already knew that.
That's kind of smooth of Sam, honestly.
I said, "Oh my gosh, Sam, that's
Sam,
so
look at
crazy."
you with the moves.
He's like whispering in your ear. Okay, that would send me
so sensual with the
with the music.
So it describes him as being like in a side box of like a very like glorious like royal theater. Like they're up on the box and the pedestal. He's kind of sitting behind her, so she's like. Like very, very sensual with the orchestra and the music playing in the background, the fancy gowns.
Gosh, it was such a moment, honestly.
It's a moment. It would be, I mean, that would be canon for a, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Did you say canon?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like it would be like a canon event.
Okay. Yes. And it was.
Maybe that's not a phrase, but in my head and in my heart, that's a phrase.
Canon event is like when you're...
I thought it was like a
life-changing event. That's like what canon events are.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Well, hey, then if that's what you wanted.
I thought canon was like a magical, like, you'll remember this forever event.
No.
Okay.
That's not how I imagine it.
Well, cut that.
No, we should keep that in. I like this. Anyways. So the concert is beautiful. Selena is standing ovation at the end. She's crying. She's sobbing. And she's like, man, that was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. And Lysandra's like, it wasn't that good, was it? Like, it really, like, you thought that was nice? And so Selena's like,
that is my biggest
heavy eye roll.
That is my biggest ick, when you can tell that somebody is like just really moved, like loving something, whether it's an art, a play, a movie, anything, and you can just tell that they're so like in love with it, and then you just belittle someone's experience just because.
Don't yuck someone's yum.
Yeah. What, like, if you were at, like, if you just listened to a song that you were like, that was incredible. I, like, even if it wasn't my favorite thing, I'd be like, yeah, that was great. I'm
glad you loved that.
Like, I'm glad you loved that. Like, that's cool. Instead of just being like, I don't know, it really wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't ask for that.
I was just telling you.
I was just telling you. And actually, Selena didn't even say anything. She was literally just, like, crying.
Yeah.
And Lysandra was just being a bitch.
Just a bitch for no reason.
Okay, so they go home, and there is supposed to be, like, this post-concert little party where they can mingle with the subjects and stuff like that, like their hit people. But Selena's like, honestly, if I'm around her for one more second, if I'm around Lysandra for one more second, I might slice her throat. I don't know. So she's like, let me remove myself from the situation, and I'm just going to try to play the music that I was listening to, because that was just so beautiful, and I just want to keep listening. So she's in the piano room trying to play, because she knows how to play piano, and she's like trying to remember how it was sounding. She was not hitting the mark. It wasn't doing great.
Not quite.
Not
to say that she's not good.
No, yeah,
she is a
she's
pianist.
Really,
like, she knows how to play. Like, she can play. She just wasn't able to completely capture what exactly the melody was.
And Sam walks in. He's like, ugh.
He said, that's tea.
He said, that's actually not even very good.
Not close.
But then he was like, I also have some more tea to spill, because I need to tell you that Arabin fucked up when he did that, and I wasn't really happy with it, and I'm still not really happy with it. He's kind of, been sabotaging me and my mission, so if you want any help getting prepared for your mission, let me know.
Yeah.
So he volunteers to help her out. And they essentially go scout out Donoval's house that he's renting for the week that he's there. And she's like, okay, nothing really to report back on. Let's go home, get ready for this ball that's happening tonight in honor of the people coming in. They get ready, and she's about to head out. And then guess what's on her bed before she leaves?
What?
There is a little pack of music sheets all wrapped up in a red bow on top of her bed. And it's the music from the concert. The night before.
That is the most precious, thoughtful little gift.
I know, and it's from Sam, because he left a note, and he's like, try not to cry. Oh, that was so cute. I was like, and then she's like, how the heck did you even get these? Like, the concert just became a thing. Like, it's not been released yet. Like, you can't find this music sheet anywhere. Yeah. So I want to know how he got that. But, he's a secret assassin, he's got his ways.
But, I mean, if somebody gave me that, like, just imagine, like, whatever it is that you're so passionate about, and your significant other buys you the one thing you need to, like, be able to recreate it or, like, make it come to life. Oh,
that's so magical.
That is just
I would be like, my panties are wet. I'd be like,
do you want to have sex?
Right
yes
now?
Or no?
Yes or no?
Okay, fine.
Okay, let's do
that. We're not sluts.
No, we're not.
She's even married.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. I don't know why that was.
I don't know either.
You said
there was no reason to be weird about that. I am mad. I'm like,
don't tell everyone.
Don't tell them. Okay, so the gala is going on tonight, and so after she sees the present, she heads out, and she's under the ruse of being Arabin's niece to everybody else out there. And her and Sam are kind of hanging together, and the plan is to kind of sneak up to Donovan and figure out when his meeting is. And so the plan for Selena, she's like, okay, I'm watching this guy. He's kind of a creep. He definitely likes the young lady, so I'm going to use that as my advantage and kind of go for it. She waltzes up there. She's like, hey, my uncle is actually so rich, and he wishes that he could be here, but, like, he's so sick. Maybe it would be really cool if, like, you guys met up later on.
And she's playing, like, this very innocent little, like, young, like, courtier.
Yeah, like a courtesan.
Not a courtesan, because she's playing, like, somebody who is, like, this innocent little, like, fancy lady of title, and her poor uncle.
Yes, yeah.
Like, she's not playing as a prostitute. Like,
right.
She's very much like a blushing, proper young girl. Like, please, I would love to have another meeting with my uncle whenever you're available.
And you guys can talk about businesses and
all
make
the business,
money.
all the things I don't know about.
I'm
None
so
of that.
stupid.
I'm just a little girl. Yeah.
And he's like, fine, I'll tell you everything. So he basically, she tells her enough information for her to figure out when this meeting is going down. So now the next step is to figure out how she's going to find the meeting room, because apparently word from Leifer, his ex-wife, is that he usually does these meetings in a very, like, secure, closed area, like a hidden passage almost. So after they were scouting, they're like, okay, there's only really one way in, so I just got to hurry up and break in and just try to snoop around and see if I can find this place. So she goes in the next day, and she sneaks into the house, immediately gets caught. And she gets caught by this security guard named Philip, and he's like, you're so dumb. I saw you and him both scouting this place. Like, we knew you guys were coming. You're an idiot. Knocks her out. She wakes up in the basement. Well, not the basement. It's like a sewer.
A sewer underground. Like, they take her underground and basically tie her up. Like, she is tied to a chair. She's not going anywhere without being able to get out.
Yeah, but luckily they didn't know, because she's wearing her secret suit, her new suit that she got, and there's, like, secret daggers in it, so she was able to get out of that. And she breaks free, but at this point, the sewer is being flushed. So it's like what I imagine, it's like a dam being released, and it's like everything's getting flushed down. Like, the entire city's sewer system is getting flushed.
And it happens, like, not super regularly. It's like a once a year, twice a year type thing. It's just happened to be one of those days. And because of that, everybody has cleared the streets. Like, it's one of those things where, like, there's nobody around to help her.
You don't want to be around
You don't want to be around when the sewers are getting flushed.
Yeah. So she's, like, freaking out because the place that Philip left through, he locked the door. So she's trapped in there, and she's about to get flushed away with the poo.
That's atrocious.
Disgusting. So she's, like, running. She's running. She's trying to find an exit. She
running
goes up,
up
like,
that hill. Make a deal with God.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Anyway, so she's running. And she finds a little gate. And she's like, yes, finally. I can probably try to get out of this one. And she's pushing it, and it's rusted shut. And she's not going anywhere. And she's like, great. This place is literally filling up with poop and pee and water. And I'm about to go down the drain. And she's, like, screaming. And guess who walks up?
Who would you think?
Mighty old Sam.
Good old
Sammy boy finds her, which we will talk about that at the end, I think. But he finds her, and he is like, yeah, this thing's stuck. I don't know. And so she's like, well, I'm about to die.
The water's, like, rising. She's, like, in a grate that's, like, reaching at the top, and she's in, like, a small tunnel where she, like, climbed a ladder. And the water is rising up, and she's like,
yeah, I'm dying. So she's like, here's my last words. Please take my body to Terracin. She's like, please just take it back.
Where she's from. Yes.
And so she thought that was her dying words, which I thought was an interesting. I feel like that must mean something. Like, do you think that means something?
That's where she's from. Terracin is where she's from. It's her homeland. She just doesn't want to be buried in Outerland, like, city that conquered it, or the country that conquered it.
That makes sense.
That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. So she passes out, and then when she wakes up, because she's our main character, she's not going to die quite.
Obviously.
Not yet, at least. She wakes up, And she's like, that was disgusting. I can't believe I'm alive. She takes about 20 baths and a couple with like hard liquor to make sure that it's like killing everything.
She like inhaled.
Ew!
She inhaled
I hope she doesn't get a UTI. Like that was literally all I was thinking. I was like, she's going to get a raging UTI.
Pneumonia from the sewer water going down her lungs.
Ugh. Disgusting.
God.
I can't even imagine. That
Write to
so
us
gross.
if you've ever swallowed sewer water and let us know how it is. Thank you. Couldn't be me.
Mm-mm. Would you do it for money, though?
Depends on how much.
1,000.
No.
1 million.
Maybe.
You're disgusting.
I would get good medical care with $1 million.
That's
Actually,
true. Maybe not, though.
I don't know.
Taxed. I don't know. Okay, so anyways, there was good news and bad news to this. Good news is now they know a secret way in to the building. And the bad news is she was just flushed down with poo. So she was like, that was so gross. I am going to pay off my debt real quick because there's no way I'm going to die under this person in this area again. Like that was enough for me to say, like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I'm ready to leave. So she tells Arabin, and she gives him the chest, and she's like, take it. And just so you know, like, I'm staying here for now, but my debt is paid. So if I ever want to leave, I'm allowed to leave. Mm-hmm. And so she leaves. So the next day, they go back to the same area because they're like, well, hey, now we know a way in, kind of. So they go in through the sewer gates again to sneak in, and they're scouting the door that Philip left through to see how often people are going in and out. And it looks enough like there's a way that she could sneak in without people really noticing. So they're like, cool, that's great news. And so they're just sitting down there watching. Sam tells her, he's like, I've been thinking lately, I think I'm going to leave Rifthold. I think I'm going to get out of here. Like, I can't stand Arabin anymore. He's been sabotaging me and my contracts. He's been making me babysit Lysandra. And, like, mostly the biggest thing was he made me sit there and watch you get beat. And she's like, well, just get over it. Like, honestly, like, it's fine. Like, you don't have to think that deep. Like, I'm fine. We're here. Let's just get over it and keep going. Like, she's like, I want you around because you're my friend. Kind of.
Friend.
And he's like, no, seriously, you don't understand. I cannot stand Arabin. Like, you even accepting his gifts is pretty disgusting to me. Like, he's just trying to bribe you, and it looks like you're just going back to the old ways, and you're going to follow him blindly, even though you know what he's been doing. Like, it's fucked up. Like, he's like, I'm not going to be doing that. And he's, like, saying, no, I'm really going to be leaving. I'm not going to be sticking around. Selena is pushing him. She's like, get over it. Like, literally, why can't you get over it? And Sam's like, because I love you. What? Oh my gosh.
And I feel like that was like coming to a head the whole time. That's why I feel like when I was reading, I was like, she's an idiot. This man's is in love with her.
They have like this super cute little heart to heart where they're like, I can't believe you like me. And like Sam's like, yeah, I've always loved you, but like I didn't think that you would ever give me a chance because I can't give you what Arabin's able to give you. Like, you love this lifestyle. You love being able to... He's like, I know you, and, like, I respect it, and I'm not trying to change it, but, like, I didn't think you would like me because how am I going to give you that? And she's like, no, I would. I really would.
She was like, you're an idiot because I choose you.
Oh, that was so cute. And then they had her first kiss was in a sewer. Can we just talk about how on par that is?
I feel like that is so typical Selena. I have like
it
even with the little we know about her right now, she's
such a weird girl, and I love it. Like she's
and they apparently like made out in the store for like a good little bit.
They really made it count.
Yeah, I love that.
No, I do too. I think.
And then they said, "Want to continue on the mission?"
Yeah,
and they're like,
"Yeah, let's think of a plan.
Let's go kill someone.
Let's go think of a plan how we're gonna kill this guy."
Yeah.
And so the plan is this: hit day comes. Selena sneaks in through the sewer. She scopes out the secret meeting area. She finds the documents. She knows where everything's at, and she's ready. She hears footsteps coming, and she's like, shoot, I gotta go hide. And so she's hiding in a closet, and she's gonna wait for kind of like this time because Sam is actually in the basement, and he is gonna set a diversion up. So once she kills Donovan and his potential partner, she's gonna escape once he sets off this little trap or distraction.
Yeah, diversion, if you will.
So she's in there, she hears them all come in, and basically immediately she's like, bing, bing, jumps out, slices Donovan's throat with a dagger, and she's about to go after his partner, but he was But then the explosion happened. And that was the distraction, I guess, because she was like, what the heck did Sam just do? Like, I thought it was going to be something casual.
And
like
Sam said, I'm going to blow this whole place up.
He said, I will burn this place down.
Hope you're out.
He's literally shaking the building. So she gets thrown off. The guy, the extra, like, businessman runs away. He's like, this is my chance to run. He's like, this is my distraction. I'm running now. And so he's escaping. Selena's like, I got to go after him. She tries to run after him. And Philip is like, oh, what the heck just happened here? And he looks, and he's like, you idiot. Why would you kill Donovan? Like, he loves his country. He loves the people. Like, why would you do that? And they're
she's
fighting.
Like, yeah, right. Like, he's here for slaves, blah, blah, blah. But he's, like, also making her think, like,
second guess. Like,
what did I just do?
Yeah, because when she looked at the documents that she found, it was all slave houses, like safe houses and stuff. It was specifically to this area to Melisandre. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, that's interesting. It's just slave houses. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought this was... Well, I guess maybe that could have been what was being traded and stuff like that.
Like information about where they were and stuff like that.
Yeah. So then she kills Philip, and then he leaves her with those lasting words where she's like, yeah, maybe there is something deeper going on here. Maybe I just made a mistake, but we got to keep going. And so she chases after the business guy, and she finds the partner, and she's like, you! And she goes after him, and he's like, oh, shit. And he poisons himself. The guy is like, I'm not trying to have you kill me, so I'm going to kill myself, and I'm going to burn the documents that I have with me. So he eats the poison, he dies, and the forms that he was holding end up burning. And Selena's like, she's cutting them out. And she looks, and it's more safe houses. Yeah. And so she's like, she feels weird. She's like, this doesn't seem like a blackmailing kind of thing. It looks more like collecting information for people to share.
But she's also like, if this person does have malicious intent, having the location to these safe houses could be detrimental. Yeah. One, it could implicate the people that are housing them, and also two, it could give people give people the opportunity to go kill or take the slaves into like recaptivity.
Right.
So it could go either way.
She's not sure, but either way, she goes back home, and Arabin is like, you were too sloppy with that, and you also didn't kill you didn't keep the bodies. How do we know what you did?
And you didn't get the documents back, like all the documents. She only got like a couple pieces of them. Yeah.
And so he's like, you're not getting paid, and also that was really bad. And she's like, but it's fine because really, all we were worried about was being blackmailed. So shouldn't we be okay with that? Like, no harm, no foul. It's fine.
So then Arabin drops the bomb on her after she basically is like, well, it's no harm, no foul. He basically is like, actually, Deneville was working for the slaves. He was working to try to get them freed. He was working to do all of those slave houses and to make sure that that they were freed, and his wife, Leifer, or I think that's how you say it, Leifer, was basically the one that was trying to she was trying to facilitate all this. She was trying to make it all happen, and he was trying to work against her. And he was like, and you just killed the one person that was going to be able to help free those slaves. And she is absolutely pissed. She's like, I will never forget what you've done. And she said, as of this day, I've already paid you all my debts. I no longer work for you. I know I said I would take contracts for you, even with my money paid, but I will no longer work for you. I will no longer speak with you. I will not ever speak to you again, and I will never forget what you've done. She also said, I sold my Asterian horse, Cassida, from the Red Desert, and I have deposited the money in your bank, and now Sam's debts additionally are also paid, and he no longer works for you and will no longer speak to you again.
Yeah, so she's mic drops. Yeah, she mic drops and she leaves. But guess that's not it. Like, Arabin, he not only gave her that plot twist of her hurting the slaves, essentially, but he also ends up using the money that she has worked so hard to get, and he used her money for her freedom to buy Lysandra's bid. So
her arch nemesis, the person she cannot stand, and also not even that, just to spend all of that money that she goes on Lysandra. Not saying that Lysandra's not worth it, but like it's a prostitute, like a prostitute for you using whatever you want. Like, it's disgusting.
It's gross, and not only that, it's Selena and Lysandra grew up together. And that has always been,
so
like, a
icky.
weird feeling
Icky,
between
icky.
her and Arabin. Is, like, this could have been something romantic. Like, I just can't tell what the vibes are. Like, he's so wishy-washy with his ways of talking to me. And so she was like, that's so nasty. Like, you're literally going up with somebody who I grew up with.
Like
We're
a
the same age. You're
child.
using my freedom money to buy somebody else's
Like
property. Like, you're
enslavement.
enslaving somebody else. That was just, ew. So ick.
Icky, icky.
Hate it.
Icky.
And of course, Lysandra has to go out and say, like, so I'm sure everybody knows, like, I just had, like, a record-winning bid. Like, I'm so popular.
And she's like, did you hear your master bought me? Did you hear your trainer bought me, of all people, and spent all of your hard-earned money on me?
Like, she's really just, like, rubbing it in Selena's face. And you guys know the night she's just gone through. She's, like, pissed about everything right now. And she's done with it. So she's like, shut the fuck up. And she throws her dagger at Lysandra, and it, like, goes right above her head. But, like, enough to shut her up, which was really all the intent.
And that's where she was aiming for.
Yeah, and that's what she was going for.
She wasn't trying to kill her. But,
she just wanted to let her know to respect her boundaries.
And that she could kill her if she wanted to.
Okay, so, yeah. So Selena is like, F Arabin, I'm done with this place. Let's get out of here. And she goes to her secret apartment that she owns. But she's not alone. She has Sammy with her.
Sweet Sammy boy.
And he tells her at the end of the story, he's like, I am going to be with you every single day, every step of the way, even if we have to go through hell itself.
Oh, the sweetest love story. I can't. It's like the most sweet, innocent little romance. Like, they grew up together. They had their bickering, their hateful, like, talks. They were like, and then they just developed into this sweet
I think it's so, I love it because I feel like Selena has just wants somebody who understands right and wrong, but, like, knows that they need to get things done sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think it's so hard for her to be able to trust and relax and, like, just be in that moment with people.
Yeah.
Like, she just can't let up like that. And so I think this is a really, truly special bond that she's growing with this guy. And I'm happy because it seems like she needs it,
Yeah, she needs someone in her corner that's there for her. Only her, no other, like, alternative motives, that is just her friend, her partner, her lover, whatever it may be. And I think she finally has this, and it's just so sweet and romantic.
Yeah. Where do you think that... I wish we had more information because we're done with the story now, so we're in talking points. But I want to know more of what was it that started Sam's love for her. Like, is that something I'm going to find out later on as I read? Or is this all we're going to hear about Sam?
I can't tell you that.
Why? Please.
No, I will not. She is the worst.
I just want to know because I just don't understand. Like, I can see, like, oh, things are changing. Like, you're making a stand. Aw. But like, you're in love with her?
Think about your first crush. Like, imagine you growing up with somebody that's, like, low-key like a bitch, but also that you're, like, you have this, like, respect for her. You think they're beautiful. You think that they're, like, you love these things about, like, he loves the things about her that are, like, uniquely her. Like, her passion, her drive, her fire. Like, the things about her that are, like, not just, like, on the surface things.
Surface level
like,
stuff.
He loves her as a person. He loves her passion. He loves her drive. He loves her aggressive behavior. Like, he loves her. He knows
who she is.
And then I think the slaves, like, knowing that she was so against that. And I mean, he knows where she came from. Like, he knows that she came from Adderland's conquered, like, land. Like, he came, like, he doesn't know her whole story, but he knows that her family's dead. He knows that Arabin took her in, and he had a very similar story where his family was dead. His mom was a courtesan, and she was murdered, basically. Yeah. And he knows that they're both alone. Yeah. I don't know that we'll ever know where that came from.
Yes, we will. You're just not going to tell me.
Those of you who have read it, tell her to shut her mouth.
No, those of you who have read it, let me know. You can DM me directly and tell me if I will find out more about it.
I run our social media accounts.
Message me directly.
I will delete them if you comment spoilers. Don't.
Anyways. All right, Peekers. That was the end of this week's plot. And
next week, we'll be covering the last part of Assassin's Blade, Assassin and the Empire. But I did say in the beginning of this episode that if you hadn't read Assassin's Blade first, go to episode 4. Go to episode 5, actually. This episode took a little bit longer than we thought it was going to, and we hope you enjoyed.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Mwah.